guys. Welcome to another episode of LuvStrong with Gillian.
And Michael. And today we're going to talk about something that we call the beauty trap. Okay, it's pretty much like it sounds. It is a trap being beautiful, or I would say it can be a curse. Now, I've seen this time and time again, and it's an age-old story as about beauty being skin deep. But it's a story and it's a lesson that's not well learned because we see it all the time, especially out here. But
Yeah, and actually more so now with social media. I feel like it's all about looks.
yeah, I knew growing up, being a guy and everybody talks about the most beautiful girl and that's the one that you always want to go for. But now this beauty in the eye of the beholder and also the person who beholds the beauty, the person themselves, it's such a trap because it encourages people not to develop anything other than their looks. And as Gillian just said, I mean, nowadays there's so much of a concentration in that. I hear grown men, and you remember there's posts that we've heard from people go on, because there'll be like beautiful actresses or models talking about they're single, and the response
Oh,
is
yes.
always,
How are they single?
"How are they single?
Yeah.
You too fine to be single. I would do this." I'm like, wait a second. That's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with who they are.
Exactly. You don't know, especially behind closed doors, you don't know how a person is. But so many people are so caught up in what a person looks like or what their body looks like. It's like nothing else matters.
Yeah,
Nothing else matters.
yeah, and it's I see it. Men, we're kind of ingrained to think that way, but it blows my mind that there are women who get caught up in that as well. And
Absolutely.
you
Because
know,
it goes both ways.
yeah, I know I have, and Gillian has. We've developed under that eye and recognized the traps that someone judging you for your looks can have for you. I learned very early that I was a big, strong guy, handsome, whatever it was, and if people treated me just for my brawn and my strength, it would be easy to encourage me to use that as a crutch. Just like it's easy for a woman who might just be beautiful to use that as a crutch, but that limits who she is. And so early on, when I would pretty much be pretty judgmental. When I would see a really beautiful woman, I'd go, well, that's probably a very pretty psychopath. Because I'm like, who's encouraging her to develop anything other than her looks? And when people were that way, I mean, early on, I'm like, I don't want to spend no time with somebody who's just all about their looks. Just like if a woman says, "Oh, you're fine. Oh, look at you in his body," and I'm going, like, even when I was playing out there, whatever, I go, you can only be a little playmate over here because I can't build nothing with somebody who's just looking at the surface, because there's other guys that are going to be more attractive and whatever. Just like with the women, if it's all about what you are on the surface, there's going to be other guys who's going to value a woman, another pretty woman, just as much as you. So how do you not get the message that you need to develop who you are? If you want to be loved for who you are, you got to develop who you are from the inside. And there's always going to be that crutch of somebody treating you on your looks. But that's so limiting.
It is, and I think a lot of women and some men, they're used to being put on pedestals. They're used to people this adoration and like, oh my God, they look like this, and it's like, so they, like you said, they tend to use it as a crutch. They tend to not build anything else up. Like what about some good characteristics and some morals? What's your personality like? Do you like to read? Do you like, I mean, what is it about you other than your looks that can really make somebody want to grow and build with? Like with me, I kind of had it both ways. And when I say that, I mean in the sense of, I was a cute girl, and I used to hate when people would, like, there was certain people that would come at me and say, like, they would just kind of automatically put me as I'm bougie, or because I have hair like this, or because my skin is, or whatever it was, that I'm a certain way. And that would frustrate me, because I'm like, you don't even know me. Like, I'm so not like that. Or it could go the other way, where I actually would be afraid sometimes to even say, yeah, I'm an actress, because I didn't like people to go, oh, you're one of those because you're cute and you're pretty. You're an actress. You know what I mean? I actually would lie. Like, people say, what are you? I'm like, oh, I work at NASA. I'm a aeronautical engineer. Like I would make up stuff just because I know within me I'm smart. I'm educated. I have a great personality. I'm super down to earth. I'm actually more of a tomboy than anything. You know that.
Yeah.
I played basketball with the boys. I
Basketball
get dirty.
scholarships. Yeah.
I'm hopping fences, climbing trees. I had 3 brothers. So it's like, it would make me angry when people would just judge me automatically based off my looks, or they would, it kind of went both ways, and it was frustrating a lot. So
Right.
you have to show who you are, and not just like let people go off, what you look like.
Yeah, my heart goes out to. I feel so sorry for women who run into that trap. I have there's one story that I'm always reminded of this very beautiful girl who used to be very popular and was somewhat of a celebrity. And when I came to LA, I met her. And she was a big deal. I remember when I was in college, my college roommates, there was a show that she was on, and people went crazy over her all the time. And it was about her looks. And I came to town, I was out at a club, and I met her. And we ended up dancing, because I like dancing, and she likes dancing. But at this time, she was a little older. Her looks were fading a bit. Definitely wasn't unattractive, but of course, gravity took over. She was getting older. And what saddened me is that she had lived such a life of using that crutch that it was evident that she hadn't developed other things. And she was desperately trying to do something with her life, though there were the young crop of super beautiful women.
That's always going to come along.
And she was lost. My heart went out, because I remember what she meant to my friends, mm-hmm. and how crazy they was for her when they'd see her on screen. And she was driving this car that was a little outdated. She was trying to call in favors from her high-profile friends who were kind of past their prime. And it was such a sad thing that it really broke my heart, that she was really desperately trying to put on cable shows, trying to do anything to get hired again. It was really, truly heartbreaking. And that story I have seen happen over and over and over since I got to this town. And I would really encourage young women to look deeper. There are people who are going to shower you with praises and jewelry and all of that type of thing. But if you're not doing something to develop who you are, or find people to love you for really, truly who you are, you're going to be caught in this trap. I see it all the time. I would never mention this woman's name because she's known, but we don't see her anymore. And the last time I saw her, things were not going very well. And it's true pain when you don't have people in your corner who love you. Don't run into that trap. Beauty is an absolute trap on both sides, because on the other side of it, I know so many men who go out of their way to get that woman that they dreamed of as far as the looks of that woman, and be blinded to who they really are. There's friends I've had is like, you want the truth from me? Your girl ain't shit. I've actually said that. You can hate me if you want to. I'm seeing through all of that. Mm-hmm. All you're seeing is she looks like this. She looks good on my arm. Everybody back at home, the fellas back home are praising me because I got this fine.
Well, it's feeding their ego.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'll be like, I don't see nothing coming from this person.
Right.
And I see so many men lose their wealth, lose all of this stuff because they didn't learn from the beauty trap. They get caught in it themselves. One of the things is, I'm just so glad that luckily I never had a problem getting women. So I've always looked deeper. So like when Gillian and I met, I'm out at a club, and so that's, for one thing, you can find the love of your life in a club. You know?
Yes.
But we both like to dance, and we
both love dancing.
Yeah, as you see, we dance in our kitchen. We dance all over the place. So that's something that connected us. But when we first met, she was out with a girlfriend of hers, very, very attractive.
Oh yeah, my friend was gorgeous, and she had a body that guys love, like just bam, 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 Mm-hmm. And I wasn't actually shaped like that. I mean, I have a nice body, but I wasn't all like Beyonce. Well, thank you, baby. But I didn't showcase my body. How about that?
That's the truth.
I didn't showcase my body. Like I said, I've always been more of a little tomboy. I don't really like a lot of attention on me, so I used to wear like more I guess I still do, baggier things and opposed to tight-fitted things. So, but she had a beautiful face and beautiful body, and she knew it, and guys were attracted to that. So whenever we would go out, I kind of didn't mind staying in the background because I wasn't out looking to catch. I was out to dance and have a good time. So she would sashay around and, get attention from men, and I kind of would just like, lag behind her. She saw Mike and was like, ooh, and so she kind of sashayed his way, trying to show off her goods, and I'm in the background like always.
Yeah, and so she was talking to me, and I was being cordial, but I know that's not what I'm looking for. But your friend, the one that was understated, who got a body just as bad as yours, who to me, I kind of put a level up, and she's not trying to show everything to show her attributes, show where her strength, where she feels her strength lies, right? And so we connected and danced all night, mm-hmm. and here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. So,
but also, it goes back to show like I got the guy that I wanted, and I'm still having my life, not from trying to showcase and show off what I got, or look at me, look at my body, look at my face. I've always cared more about. I've always wanted people to like me for my personality, because I think I'm funny and fun to be around. So that's kind of like where I would like someone to appreciate me more and be attracted to that more than actually what I look like. So I never put my looks or my body just out there like that. I never have done that.
Yeah, and like even for me, of course, it's a little bit different, but it's kind of like you almost would never see me wearing a tank top.
Never.
That if you first met me and I had a tank top on, it would probably turn you right off, right?
I would have thought you were a cornball.
Exactly.
I'm serious. I like buff dudes with tank tops. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, buff guys with tank tops.
Yeah, but so it just shows where you think your attributes are.
Yeah, it's because I feel like you're showing off.
Right. And so yeah, a lot of us are very insecure, and we want love, we want that, and then So we take anything that looks like it. We take adoration in place of love. We want that attention. And sometimes it's driving us down roads where we're getting surgery and all of this stuff. But I would encourage everyone to look within, look inside. You can't do these things. You can't fix things from the outside in. You got to fix it from the inside out. Find out why you desire that attention. Because let me tell you, sisters, brothers are going to be able to, people who want to manipulate you, they're going to be able to figure you out and know how to do that. I'm going to tell you right now, there was a time when I was younger, that's what I thought I was supposed to do, is manipulate somebody based on their flaws and their insecurities. And when I was younger, I thought, okay, I have to get with this one, that one, this one, because I'm trained to do that. And being a natural actor, I could turn my personality this way to get that one, turn my personality the other way to get that one. I remember when I was younger, I think I told you, I dated two cousins, where I'm from in Connecticut. I dated two cousins who I had on the East Coast, on the east side of the town. People call me Bam, and this other the cousin of this girl that was like in the hood, she lived in Trumbull, which is a total suburb. And they talked about the guys they were dating. One was talking about their boyfriend Mike, and the other one was talking about their boyfriend Bam, who was the same person. They both did martial arts. But my personality with one was completely different than the other, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Just to say, yeah, men are trained to tie into your pain and manipulate who you are. That's why so many sisters have to grow up with game. I understand. But that beauty, your outward appearance, you gotta understand you're running into a trap if that's all you want to be based off of. My heart breaks when I see more stories like this, and I can tell you there's too many that I see every day of these things, because, hey, I'm in this business, the acting business, and I know models and so many people. And so I'm of an age where I've seen people fade from the public eye. I have friends who have faded from the public eye, and I know the pain they're going through. So the young generation, please hear me out. I speak from experience. That's a pain that you don't want. So, watch how what you're presenting and know where your strengths are.
Yeah, it's so important, especially, and I feel like with social media and just the way they put women out here now, it's like, well, actually, it's getting a little better. It's getting a little better. I'm seeing more diversity with different types of women, different body sizes. They have things showing stretch marks and cuts and bruises and just all kind of stuff. It's a lot of the retouching is being taken out of these images that are being presented to younger girls, because we have daughters. And I hate when I sometimes see them getting caught up sometimes with, feeling insecure or not feeling that they're pretty enough or comparing themselves to this or that. And I see it's, it starts young because of all the images and all the things on social media. And it just continues this cycle that goes into adulthood, which leads to that, whether some people decide to go get plastic surgery to enhance themselves, or some people decide to, wear a ton of makeup or do this to their hair or get colored contacts, or whatever the case is, to make them feel better about their looks in terms of themselves and how they're presented, or how men, or if you like women, whatever, but whatever the person you're attracted to, how they feel about you. And I just wish that more women and men could not be so harsh on themselves and really just accept who you are, and know that there's someone out there who's going to find you beautiful just the way you are.
Exactly.
Because like you said, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. People kind of get tired of all these girls looking the same exact way. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to knock anybody, but I'm like, damn, how does that girl look like that girl and that girl looks like that? Like, it's like they're like all cut from the same cloth because people are doing their makeup the same, their hair the same, they're going to the same surgeons to do certain things to themselves, and everybody's looking the same. But it's like, to me, and I've always told you this, even growing up, I always thought the most beautiful person was the most unique looking person.
Yes, yeah.
Like, it was the weirdest thing. Like, I never thought certain women or men, like, that women were like, ooh, going crazy over. I'd be like, no, but what about that guy with the kind of crooked teeth, or the brown skin, or the cool hair, like with the eyes that do that? Like, it was always something unique about somebody that made me see them as beautiful, men and women, or handsome. And so I just wish more people would start learning to be okay with themselves, and not care so much about trying to fit in with their looks and trying to live up to this standard of beauty. Because to me, there is no standard of beauty. It's what's inside that counts. And the person that you need to attract to you is going to see that. Not the person that is going to be attracted to what everybody else looks like, right?
Yeah. And just social media, or just how we are conditioned. Here we're on the big screen a lot of times. And so we inherit a bit of a platform that people call you movie stars, celebrities, or what have you. But it doesn't mean that we all, just because we are in the positions that we are the ones to follow. There are a lot of folks that are just praised, that are famous for their looks or talent or singing ability, that I would hope people would start thinking that getting a second thought on who we deify. Early on, I dated my share of some famous folks, models, actresses, and my friends back home would tell me how lucky I am. And I was like, wait a minute. And most of the times, I felt like pretty much an unpaid therapist. I would ask my friends, okay, what movie did you see this girl that I'm dating in, or this model? What ad did you see this model in that made you think that they were a good conversationalist? Were interested in learning, or evolving, or had deep hobbies, or was just intelligent. Nothing. There's no movies that show that, or even good and bad for that sake. There's all these different things that make for a great relationship. None of these people have proven to anyone, yet they are cherished as if they were the fantasy of all life. And I tell you firsthand information, not just sticking people out. Well, here's my worst people I've dated. Here's the best. The famous ones were right about here, next to the worst, because they felt like they didn't have any work to do. And I was just like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be lucky here, right? I'm like, I don't feel lucky. This chick is so about her looks or her career that she got nothing else. And just think about it for a second, just common sense wise. Okay, say you have narcissistic personality disorder, or you're schizophrenic. And so you can access emotion like at the drop of a hat. You can go to tears this quick, whatever. And if you're an accountant or I don't know, a lawyer, you need a lot of psychological help, right? But now, if you're an actor, you're brilliant. Not only are you brilliant, you're cherished. You're probably super famous because you can turn into somebody else. You can make your pathology work for you. So that's great for a relationship, right? So when you start going, oh man, this Hollywood, just think for a second. A lot of these very famous people are single for a damn reason. So I just say be careful of who your fantasies are. Yeah. And let me tell you, those Hollywood starlets, those famous people, for me, they had to contend with the real women that I've dated who are trying to be better, who are trying to be good people. And they were damn short-sighted to compare with the real people. In the same way, hey, I've got friends who I admire and cherish because of who they are. And I don't give a damn how some famous person would be. If they're not a good person, they're not a good person.
Yeah, it's funny. That's exactly what I was going to say. That was just that point is so important. It's like, it doesn't matter what you do. I don't care if you're a professional athlete or a super talented, famous singer or actor, actress, or something that people see you all the time and kind of look at you and just praise you and put you on this pedestal. It doesn't always mean that person's a good person. Yeah. And that's so important. Like, it's kind of like how my mother always taught me to be like, and I brought it into set with my acting. Like, when I'm on set, there are certain people who actually only talk to the directors and the producers, the people that can put them in places. You know what I mean? I've never been that way. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm gonna talk to everybody. I'm gonna talk to the guy that's sweeping over there. I'm gonna talk to the guy taking out the trash. I'm gonna talk to the lady over there, like, putting curtains up. It's like, I just feel like you shouldn't ever put people on pedestals because you don't know who they truly are. Like, learn about the people, get to know the people who aren't so famous, aren't so beautiful, aren't so, put up here, and you probably will actually might even like them better. Sometimes I'm just saying it's yeah. And like, I don't like to categorize everyone, but you guys get my point. It's just, you can't look at a person and just go, oh, they're this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's really about the truth and authenticity, right?
Yeah.
I always think about this experiment, like if this were possible. Well, imagine, okay, the woman who grows up beautiful or the man that grows up beautiful, and they're able to categorize it and not use it as a crutch. While this person has the capabilities of becoming very extraordinary because they go, oh, that's just how I look. That's not who I am. And that person tends to get much further in the world. Think about the type of person who's rich and doesn't use their money as a crutch. Now that's an exemplary person, right? That person is going to have richness in character as well as wealth. So that's the kind of person I would always want to be. Now let's turn this experiment around a little bit. Now let's talk about the woman or the guy who has average looks, and they worked on their personality, and they don't care. It's about substance for them, right? Now I think you think you know where I'm going with this, but here's the turn. Make them all of a sudden beautiful and powerful overnight and see what you got. Are they going to still be that down-to-earth person? That's the interesting thing here. People can judge it from a distance, but when the average person gets power, money, Now we find out who
they
they
really
are underneath,
Always.
right? So sometimes people are as nice as their freaking options. And we start seeing how ugly someone is once they have the power. Now they become the beautiful person. Now they become, now they don't have to be humble anymore. So you can't just grant that this person that worked on their personality because of their options is that much more exemplary than the surface beautiful person, because it's all about what you're doing with power. Some beautiful people are born with that power that they had nothing to do with. But when it comes down to it, power corrupts. You find out who you are when you have that power. So I'm not just beating up on pretty people.
No.
You know?
And this has nothing to do with that. I mean, it's, and I think what you're saying is so important because, like, just recently, right? Mm-hmm. I ran into someone that I didn't really know from high school, a couple years younger than me, and she ran into me the other day and said, "Hey, I knew you when you were in high school. You didn't really know me. You were a couple years older than me." But she was like, "I always looked up to you because you were always, you were like the star basketball player, you're homecoming queen. You're like, you're this, you're that." And she says, "But the one thing I always remember about you more than anything was how kind you were." She's like, "You were always kind to everyone, right?" And she was like, "And that meant more to me than anything else." And she's like, "And you didn't change." And see, that's the thing. Like, so I got in a position where maybe more people see me on TV because I'm acting now, and this and other. But people sometimes expect you to change, mm-hmm. right? Because now you're in a position of, oh, I'm a celebrity, or I'm on TV, or I'm this, I'm that. And some people definitely do. Mm-hmm. But I love it when people come back to me that I'm from grade school, high school, middle school. Like, you never changed, Gillian. You're the same person. You always treated me with kindness. That to me makes me feel so like that's like the biggest compliment somebody could give me.
Yeah, but Mr. Dark guy from the East Coast might look at it as they're reflecting their ideas on you. They're talking about what they would do if they had the looks. And there's a certain truth. I think there's a certain point to that because
maybe some people.
I know you sometimes hear, just like I hear, is like, man, if I knew how to do what you can do, man, I'll whoop head. I'll make people do this. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's that
right.
is a perfect example of showing how if someone had that power.
Yeah,
in terms of that, now they would change.
But to some degree, it's like, wow, Gillian, you're so nice, and you spoke to me, and so there's an aspect of that going, wow, if I look like you, I wouldn't speak to me.
Oh no.
There's a little bit of that.
I think in situations like that, I think it's more because people think that when somebody maybe elevates from the town they came from, that they're too good now, or they're not going to look back. I don't know you guys anymore.
But yeah,
but you're saying that they're thinking they might be like,
because when you think about the people who don't expect you to be any different because you're a human being.
Yeah.
Well, what about them? They got it right.
Well, I was going to say they have a good mindset.
Because those are the people. The people are not scared of me because they've seen me kick somebody in the face. I like those people better.
I know you do. You always respect people way more.
Who expect me to be just a normal dude.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know that's a big deal for you.
Because it's like, basically they're telling me, like when they, compliment me sometimes, and I don't know if this is the East Coast thing, it's like, wow, I'm so happy you're not an asshole. It's like, I'm not supposed to be an asshole. So I'm getting credit for just not like
being myself.
Well, that's weird. Like I'm not the asshole you thought I was.
Think you're gonna turn
maybe that's a glass half full kind of half empty type of thing.
It's all the way your perspective and all the way you look at things. So there was a story I wanted to share where, and And I always regretted this, but it's just something I feel people should hear because when I was in high school, I think I told you this, there was a guy I really liked. He wasn't really good looking. He had really bad skin, a lot of acne and scars. But I thought he was the nicest guy and he was really funny. I've always liked funny guys. And I remember really enjoying myself with him. Like we would laugh and, and I had so many people in my ear like, why are you with him? Like, you're so pretty. Why would you be with him? He's not good looking. He's not this. He's like, why? And I was like, well, what? I like him. He's a nice guy. He's funny. But people started getting in my head so much that I started seeing what didn't bother me. It didn't bother me that he had bad skin. It didn't bother me he wasn't that most attractive guy. I liked him for his personality. But it started getting in my head where I started seeing, now I'm seeing the acne. Now I'm seeing the maybe not so good looking guy. And now it's starting to get in my head and it really bothered me. Like it always something I felt bad about because eventually I broke up with him and I was like, I broke up with him because people got in my head. Because so many people have that mentality of, like how someone, like if you look like this, you should be with somebody like this, right? Or if you're a good looking guy, you should only be with a good looking girl, And it's so stupid to think that way. You should always look at what's in a person's inside and not their surface. You should always be attracted to what attracts you, not what other people say or the standards that are out there about what's good looking or what's not, right? Yeah. It just made me feel so bad. It's like something I always felt bad about, like later in life,
Yeah, and then what's important is that we spoke about before is chemistry. There's a certain chemistry that's going to just light a fire on both sides. Mm-hmm. There's a chemistry that we have and that I saw and felt the first time we met that we've had it our whole lives, and that's what got us to this place. That is what I hope people can hone into, but you can only do that if you're being your authentic self, because you have the courage to be who you really are. And really, the what's really liberating is you finding who you are, not what you think. I mean, sometimes we fool ourselves, but deep down, to dig deep and really see and unlearn all the craziness that society's taught you to look at and value, those relationships, the type of relationship you want to have. Like, I don't know, if we present an image that you might want, which is one of the things that brought us here, is that people say, hey, could you share what's gotten you guys together? There's a light I see in you two. And I feel the old adage, to whom much is given, much is required. And, we're trying to do that for the people we care about. Mm-hmm. And that's all of you.
Yeah. So always just try to remember what's important, right? Mm-hmm. What's important in terms of relationships. It's not always about the looks of someone. It's about what's inside. It's about the chemistry. It's about what makes you feel good when you're around this person, not what other people are saying. And, you always want to remember, is it about the arm candy or is it about someone you can grow with, build with, and, live a happy life with?
Yeah, and work from within. Remember, don't go from the outside in. Work from the inside out. Find out where that insecurity lies and build yourself from within. Heal from within, and you'll find yourself in a place where that person who needs to see you will.
Ain't that the truth?
All right, y'all.
Peace. I always got to end with some old ass saying to make you.
It's Zabba Zoobity Wow.